If you've got lateral pelvic tilt, you likely tried stretching muscles like the QL, or you tried strengthening muscles like the abdominal obliques, or even the glute medius or inner thigh muscles. And while these work for some people some of the time, they just as often fail. And the reason for this is that tight muscles and a lateral pelvic tilt are usually a symptom and not a cause. So in this video, we're going to reveal what the real cause of lateral pelvic tilt is and give you the framework and exercises to fix it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. So first of all, what is a lateral pelvic tilt? I'm guessing you already know, but it's when one side of the pelvis drops relative to the other. And when this happens, you're often going to feel tight and stiff in some muscles and just plain old tight in the others. So it's common that on the side of the hike or the higher hip, you're going to feel muscles like the QL feeling short and stiff, and just kind of congested. And then on the opposite side, you're going to feel those same muscles and the back muscles often feeling tight and even overstretched. Now, often the glutes and inner thigh muscles can feel a bit off as well, and they usually test weaker on one side versus the other during movement tests. The hips will often also feel uneven during exercise and during walking. Now, most content out there leads you to believe the solution is stretching and strengthening. After all, some muscles are tight and others are weak, right? So we just need to stretch the tight ones and then strengthen the weak ones, right? Well, not really. This is almost true, but if you've tried any of the videos out there, you'll know that the results with this type of approach are temporary at best. And the reason for this is that these approaches make an incorrect assumption, and that is that the body functions like a pulley system. These operate from the belief that the pulley on one side is pulling too much and on the other side not enough. And while in some sense this is true, what this assumption misses is why this happens in the first place. The truth is that the body is not only a pulley system, it's actually a piston system embedded in a pulley system. And the pressure of the piston impacts the position of the pulleys. Now, the position of the pulleys also impact the pressure capacity of the pistons. Yes, that's right. We've got two things to consider, and it's a two-way street. Now, most solutions only consider one. So to fix a lateral pelvic tilt long term, we not only need to reposition the body and work on the pulley system, but we also need to learn to create even pressure on both sides of the body to balance the piston system. Now, the human body piston system is made of your diaphragm, abdominal cavity, and pelvic floor. And the easiest way to observe this is during breathing. As you take a breath in, the diaphragm pushes down, and the pelvic floor will move down and abs move out as they contract to increase pressure in the abdomen. And a similar phenomena is going to happen when you lift a weight. The diaphragm, abs, and pelvic floor will all squeeze together to create pressure in the abdomen to increase stability. But what most don't realize is that there are two sides to this system. Instead of one piston, there are actually two. We can think about the diaphragm as two muscles instead of one left and one right hemi-diaphragm. And so you can imagine how an imbalance between these sides would change pressures and thus impact position. So let's imagine this scenario. You take a breath in, everything pushes down at the same time to the same degree. This is going to cause your guts to move basically straight down. But what if one side pushes down more or faster than the other? Well, then pressure on that side is going to increase relative to the other, and because your guts are liquid, they're going to move away from that increase in pressure. This is going to shift volume towards the other side of the body, and that pulley system will adjust its position to this volume shift. So if I were to squeeze the right side, then fluid is going to flow left. And when this happens, the right pelvis will hike up, resulting in a lateral pelvic tilt. In this case, the right QL is likely to feel stiff and the left is likely to feel tight. Now I could stretch and strengthen the pulleys, but if I don't change the pressure inside of the system, then results aren't going to stick. All right, so in this next part of the video, we're going to go through 3 exercises to balance the most important part of this piston system, and that is your diaphragm. Your left and right diaphragms are the most asymmetrical part of this piston system, and they're also the most important aspect of producing downward force. So before we go on, I should mention that this is just the first step in addressing lateral pelvic tilt. And even with this approach, you might need more to get long-term changes. Now, in an upcoming video, I'm going to cover why this is the case and what to do about it. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to do that now so you'll know when that video drops. All right, so first we're going to lay back or sit down and relax the abs just enough so we can bring the fingertips under the lower ribs. We're going to kind of bring them inwards and then upwards and under. And then we're going to take a breath in, feeling the diaphragm pushing down into the fingertips. As we do this, we're going to sense the rate and the amount of downward movement on either side. And as we do this, we'll do our best to equalize this. So if you've got a side that doesn't move as much or as fast, you can try to improve that between repetitions. So if we've got a lateral pelvic tilt with the right side hiked up, we're often going to have a left diaphragm that doesn't move down as well as the right. And in this case, we're going to take a breath in and see if we can get the diaphragm to move down a little bit sooner and a little bit more on that left side so that they're both moving down equally. Now, once we have that down, we want to see if we can create a similar sensation without using the breath. After all, during exercise especially, the diaphragm needs to be able to stabilize both in and out of phase with the breath. Now, if you feel like you can't get a feel for this, you might just need to improve diaphragmatic awareness in general. And again, my Breathwork Breakthrough Challenge is one of the best ways to do that. All right, so now moving on to exercise number 2. This is going to take the skills that we just learned and then use a side lying position to begin to integrate them. To get into the position, we want to take the side with the hike and put that down against the table. As we do this, we're going to allow the torso to sink into the table, which will naturally hike the top hip. Then from here, we're going to breathe with that downward force of the diaphragm from the top side. So if the right hip was hiked up, we're going to lay on the right side. We're going to create the downward force with the left side. This will allow us to create pressure to shift the guts from the top side down towards the bottom hip. And we can enhance this a little bit by imagining a gentle squeeze from front to back in the back and abdominal muscles as we also contract the diaphragm at the same time. Once we're in this position, we'll do about 3 to 5 sets of 5 to 10 breaths. All right, so now moving on to the final exercise. We're going to be taking the awareness that we built in those first 2 exercises and then bring them into an upright context. Now, at this point, we need to talk a little bit about the philosophy of improving movement and movement asymmetry. When we looked at the exercises that we started with, these isolated out foundational movement skills. The first being more of a diaphragm coordination drill, and the second being more of a positional awareness drill. But to really get changes that stick in improving symmetry, we need to include symmetrical exercises and we need to overload those exercises over time. So most of the exercises that really get changes to stick are actually going to be your most traditional gym exercises. Think about it, even an exercise like a split squat, which is asymmetrical, requires a little bit more of a symmetrical focus. As you do it, you're going to be able to load up the most if you keep your hips and rib cage mainly square throughout. And this, keeping the rib cage and pelvis square, is actually a skill that you must master. Where a lot of people go wrong here is they think that they need to look at the position they're in and then always bias the opposite extreme. They think, hey, well, I'm tilted to the right, so now I just have to tilt left until I'm even. Now, this couldn't be further from the truth. The truth is that you need to expose yourself to that opposite extreme. That's true. But once you've got that access, then your resting middle point will be between those 2 new extremes, and it will be closer to a true middle. But once you have access to that true middle, you need to work on owning that middle, and you need to own it under load progressively over time. This is the only way that you're going to develop the skill of not going into a lateral tilt as you're training. All right, to begin working on owning the middle, we're going to use a split squat, and there's a few things that I want you to look for. When you've got a side that's more hiked, you're often less able to turn in that direction. So if you really emphasize squaring your pelvis towards that leg, often the pelvis will be able to drop down and it'll be a little bit more comfortable and symmetrical. Now on the drop side, you're often turning towards that leg a little bit too much. So in this case, if you slightly arch your back and allow the front of the pelvis to open a bit, you'll actually be able to hike a little bit more on that drop side, once again, making it more comfortable and symmetrical. Now I should mention that if what I'm saying right now is getting a bit overwhelming and a bit too much to think about while you're doing the movement, if you just focus on owning that middle position and then moving through a full range of motion in the legs, you'll get plenty of what you need on either side of the body. All right, so to do the actual exercise, here are the main cues that I like to use. First of all, we're gonna get full front foot pressure. I like to set up so that I could literally lift the back leg up if I wanted to. I think about the split squat and most of my single leg work as single leg squats rather than double leg exercises. So think of your back foot here as more of a kickstand. Then from here, I'm gonna lower straight down, bending the hips, knees, and ankles while I maintain the head, rib cage, and pelvis in a relatively aligned position. And then from the bottom position, I'll push straight down and return straight back up to the top. Again, we want to try to feel equal pressure on the inside of the abdomen, side to side. Often taking a deep breath will help with this, but again, I'd encourage you to try to sense that downward push of the diaphragm without breathing and with breathing. So once you can do this, you can then scale this up over time by adding load, sets, and reps. And so speaking of sets and reps, you're probably wondering how many you should do. Now, I really can't tell you because the exact journey to improving lateral pelvic tilt, or really any movement, is going to differ between people. Now, at the end of this video, I will put up a sample program, and this will work pretty well for most people, but just bear in mind it is a general guide. What I've talked about in this video so far is going to help pretty much everyone. But if you're in a lateral pelvic tilt and you've been in one for a while, chances are that you might also be lacking other foundational movement skills. Now, if you can identify what those movement skills are and then improve them, that's going to increase the chances that you get lasting changes. So if you want to get changes that stick, you need to both isolate and integrate the movement skills that are specific to how you move. And you can find a customizable guide about how to do just that below by enrolling in my Lower Body Foundations program. So as always, thanks a bunch for watching. I'm going to put that program on the screen now. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, all the good stuff. And until next time, peace.